Hey folks, this is John from Jack's, and I'm about to illustrate how we're going to take a thermacell canister and make it refillable. Also, when I get done with that, I'll show you how to use some substitute chemical for the chemical pads. Anyways, first off, I'm going to go over some of the items we're going to need here. A drill. We're going to need an 11/64 inch drill bit. Safety glasses. Empty thermacell canister. We're going to need some type of valve that we're going to put in here. I use a brass valve from a pencil torch, which I get at Harbor Freight Tools. If you're not familiar with Harbor Freight Tools and you ain't got one by you, close to you, and hopefully you can find one. You can find them online. This is a flyer they send out. You can find them on sale in here sometimes, or I personally sign up for a internet coupon that they send me once a week. A few times a year they send me a coupon for this deal, $1.29 a piece. Their normal price for these are $4.99, and it's well worth $4.99. You really only end up needing one of these yourself. Put it in your thermacell, leave it there, you refill it right there, you never have to take it out. But if you can get them for $1.29, that's great too, because I make them and give them away to buddies. Another option is some of the cheap plastic lighters. They have these little refill valves in the bottom of them, and if you can find them like this, you're lucky. Usually I don't use these anymore. I don't like the plastic valves, but when I did, I would have to get these refillable multi-purpose lighters like you'd use on a grill or a fireplace, and that's where you get these out of. You get them from the inside of there. And when you do get those from inside of there, you have to empty this and get that valve out. I'll show you how later. We're also going to need some 2-part epoxy. Really don't matter what kind, but I got this from Harbor Freight. I think it's regular $3 or $4 for the 2-pack. I got it on sale for $1.99, but it's a 2-part quick drying epoxy. You can use slow drying if you want, it don't matter. We're going to need a small screwdriver to get the valve out of here and then back into here to screw it in. You can use a small screwdriver like these little control type screwdrivers. I've got this small one here, basically a little bit wider tip than that one, and it's got a groove grinded into it. You might use a grinder or whatever you can do to use that. Figure that out yourself. This one was made for me and given to me by a buddy. I don't know what he did it with, but I'd say a screwdriver about this size would work best if you wanted to grind a slot in it, and that would go down inside of that to remove that easier than just this small screwdriver, which would work. This is what I used before I started using this, and that gets this small valve out of here. This is, I'm going to give you a close-up. This is the brass valve we're harvesting out of that pencil torch. It's got threads on it, threads inside of that canister. And on the top it's got a little slot in it, and this little deal fits inside that slot like so, and that helps to screw it in and out. And this little fuel gizmo, which is spring loaded in there like so, that's how we get our fuel in, and it holds it in under pressure. A spring inside of there and a seal, but this goes into those slots and turns it in and out. We use that to screw it in and out. Makes it a lot easier. Anyways, we're also going to need, we're going to know the epoxy. We're going to need a Sharpie marker and a can of butane refillable fuel. You get this at Publix, and they used to sell it at Wally World. They don't sell it there no more that I can find. You may be able to find it somewhere else, but I get mine at Publix. So that's all we need. So now I'm going to show you how we do this. First, we're going to take this drill bit. We're going to put it in the drill. Get it ready. Don't matter what kind of drill you use. We're going to put our safety goggles on. We're going to take our canister, hold it up to the light. Let's make sure it's empty. Yeah, it's empty. We're also going to take something like this little gizmo. And we're going to push it inside this valve here. Pressure right in the middle. Put some pressure in there, use this or a toothpick or something and press it down. As long as you don't hear no pressure, you know it's empty. This is empty. Right in the very middle, right here, you'll see a little metal ball in there, and we're going to get that. We're going to drill a hole right where that little metal ball is at. Take this. That's that fast. Now you can sit there and you can shake that ball out. You can hear it in there, or you can take it out with a magnet, which I'm going to grab right now. So I got my magnet. Don't need my safety glasses anymore. Done with anything where there might be pressure. I'm going to stick a screwdriver inside of there. Stick this magnet on that screwdriver. Shake it around. I'll pull it out, and that little ball is stuck to the end here. It's out. There may be some pieces of plastic in there, but that's okay. They won't hurt anything. It just keeps that little teeny ball from getting stuck inside your belt. So we're ready to go. And what we're going to do, we're going to open this torch. We'll take the little tool, like I showed you, put it on the edge of that, those slots, and just unscrew it. And that little brass valve comes right out. This pencil torch goes in the trash unless you can figure out a use for it. I haven't figured out one. Now, put this up to that hole. Take my little tool here. Try to keep it as straight as possible. If it goes in there crooked, that's okay, but I like to get them in there straight. There's a little rubber O-ring on that brass valve. I leave it on there. It really doesn't matter. You can take it off if you want. I've never taken one off. They work with the rubber O-ring on there. Haven't had any problems. I screw it down until I see that O-ring hit. I get a little bit of squish on that O-ring, and if it ain't perfect, I ain't sweating it. But that's it. Now that's screwed in there just that fast. 11/64 hole. Fits right in there. Next, I'm going to take my 2-part epoxy. I'm going to get me a little card or something to mix it up on. And I'm going to put a little bit on the paper. Side by side, equal amounts. Right beside each other. I'm going to mix that up real good, like the directions say to. Once I get that mixed up, I'll just take whatever I use to mix it up with, and I kind of dab it around the outside edge of that valve carefully. Don't take a whole lot. Just want to get a seal between the edge of that valve and the brass. What I don't want to do, I don't want to get too much on there so it fills up around it and touches that little metal thing. I'm going to get up closer again. Use this as my pointer. I don't want that epoxy to touch this little metal tit that's sticking out of here. He said tit. I don't want that thing to get touched by the epoxy because I don't want that to get stuck. I want that to keep moving like it is there. So, no epoxy. We're going to put the top back on here and then set that down like that, upright, so that stuff don't run over onto that little tit. And we're going to leave it like that overnight. This is 5-minute epoxy. You could probably come back in 15 minutes and do the next step, but I just leave mine overnight. I come back the next day and I take this here canister and I press it up against that thing upside down and press it down. Now I've got one over here I've already done. This one's done already. I take this here, and you might get a little bit squirt out, so it would be good to put your safety goggles on just in case, but we're going to press this up against there and press down, and that liquid goes down in there. Now you can see liquid in there. I don't know if you can on camera. You probably can't, but I can see it. If I hold it up to a light, I can see it. But what I do is, once I get a little liquid in there, I look at the level. That's where I take my Sharpie marker